That's a very frequent mindset of parents. It's not a bad thing. Just two parents, they love and they cherish their kids so much that in their minds, they're forever children. They're holding hands, dark and firm. Who else ships them? I ship them all the way. Is the concept that healing ripples. When we work on ourselves, we in turn help out and benefit the people around us. Just like all my clients who learn helpful therapeutic skill sets, they take that with them, internalize it, and they apply it to their lives. But it doesn't end there. It doesn't just only benefit their lives, they also share that and teach other people in their lives and help out other people. Hello friends, my name is Benoit Kim, a psychotherapist and educator. Today's episode masterfully uses quiet conflict, illness, and the parting of a companion to explore how intimacy, trust, and individuation develop under pressure. Episode 17 is a rich case study for how emotional intelligence, secure attachment, and psychological individuation, which is a concept I'll explain down the road, unfolds in a fantasy context, but it rings true to real-world dynamics nonetheless. This video is sponsored by Assassins Nation Zero and Tiratanas, our new sponsor tier. Shout out to the best patron family, and let's tune in.
俺の旅の目的はこっちだ。10年前に旅に出た親友と合流することだ。
We're seeing the continuation from episode 16, the crossroad, right? This emotional decision-making crossroad that Zion has to make a decision. Will he stay or part ways? Opposite direction.
ボイサーストとは反対方向だね。
フリーレン、俺はゴリラを追いかけるために旅に出た。
That was Zion's mission.
知ってるよ。
I'm probably overthinking already, but I think that sunset, which is what Frieren said, the sun's about to set. Can we make a decision tomorrow? I think it's probably foreshadows Zion eventually making a decision to part ways. That's my prediction. I think the sun's setting symbolizes end of a day. In this case, end of an era, which I think is going to suggest that Zion is going to depart his adventure party and all the journey they've shared so far, even though the show never exactly shared how long has it been. So I think sunset probably means Zion parting ways from them. Probably the next day in this episode. Take care. Oh gosh, the title? Yeah, Zion's gonna leave. Oh, I didn't know Stark knows how to sew. Why does Frieren look like that? Oh, it's cold. Okay, makes sense. 신기록. It's also in Korean. Kirok. Record. They're holding hands, stark and firm. Who else ships them? I ship them all the way. Yamete! Yamete! Oh, it's snowing. Oh, it's gonna be a serious blizzard. Just from what she said. Yep, called it. Jinxed. They jinxed themselves. A month. So Zion's gonna stay with them for a month, it sounds like? Because he can't leave in this blizzard condition.
どうするザイン出発する
それ聞く必要があるの
寒波が去るまで動けないかでもまあ酒場も雑貨屋もあるし小屋も
Bars for Zion and shops for Frieren.
この前の山小屋と比べたらだいぶマシだね
Shout out to Craft the
この
Monk.
集落には怪しい老人がやっている魔法店があるんだよね
Shady old man.
私の経験上ああいう場所には伝説級の魔法がある
Legendary level spells.
そこをゆっくり漁れるのは大きいね
Frieren's thriving.
カビを消滅させる魔法やしつこい油汚れを取る魔法
Legendary spells.
すごい確かにあれは世界が一変するほど便利でした
Oh, that's why they're
おばあちゃんの知恵
legendary?
袋かな
とにかく今は待つしかないよ渋谷山脈ではシュタルク様が死にかけましたからね
しかし もうしばらくは一緒にいることになりそうだな。
What Zayn just said, I think this confirms my prediction. Zayn is definitely gonna leave in this episode. Makes sense. He's not betraying the present party, but rather staying true and authentic to his true calling and mission, which is to reunite and find the long lost friends of kind guerrilla warrior. Another thing I want to highlight here is the symbolism of weather. Weather is a typical archetype that's utilized in many storytelling. And just like in the previous episode, the Northern Lands, Blizzard here, I think, represents some sort of emotional conflicts that's to come. Some sort of emotional turmoil, probably within this party, I'm not sure between who, and probably also foreshadowing the sadness and the storminess of Zayn parting away, and the sadness, the grief, and whatever else that's to come. They're having communion of eating together in the fireplace. Stark is doing push-ups. The shady old man. He doesn't look shady at all. Also, what do you guys think about all the nicknames in this show? Like the grumpy old woman in the last episode, shady old man in this episode. Damn, a month is already almost over?
あれ、俺らほとんど一緒にいる。
Looks like it.
どうしたんだ、フリーレン。
なんだかシュタルクとフェルンの様子が
I
変
knew
なん
it's
だよ。
conflicts, emotional conflicts between Stark and Fern. Another lover's quarrel?
それは構わないが、なんで俺に頼むんだ。
Because Frieren is
仲
not
裁は
equipped
僧侶の
to
仕事
mediate.
なんだよ。
Oh, or that.
そうなの。
Is it? Fern is pouting.
ひどい状況だな。
Sorry state of
一体
affairs.
何があった。
シュタルク様が悪いんです。
Zayn's the only adult in this group.
俺が全部悪いんです。
一人ずつ隣の部屋に行きなさい。
Oh, mediation. Separate the source of conflicts and work on it, counseling one by one. Very good technique. Gotta have tea in this cold weather.
何があったんだ。
この小屋に来たばかりの頃、フェルンが俺のほっぺに冷たい手を当てたじゃん。
Mhm.
おー、おっと
Is that what Stark did?
今日それをやり返したら、
Paid her back
フ
in
ェルンが切れちゃっ
kind.
た。
ガキかよ。女の子が顔ペタペタ触られていい気がするはずねえだろう。
仲直りしたいです。
お前は俺と違って根はいいやつなんだから、正直に気持ちを言えばいい。仲直りしたいのなら、ちゃんと相手にそう話すんだ。
True.
フリーレンは喧嘩の仲裁なんかしてくれないぞ。
Also true.
フェルンに謝るよ。
シュタルクも反省している。
Oh, such a skilled mediator. Shout
悪
out
気
to
があった
Zayn.
わけじゃない。
Ah, of course we see Zayn's awesomeness before he leaves. Schmuck.
謝りたいです。
Aww.
元はといえば私のせいですし、触られたことは気にしてはいません。
Oh, a lover's quarrel.
肩を押さえた腕の力が強くて、
Hmm?
ちょっとだけ怖いと思ってしまったんです
Oh, survival mode.
じゃあ、怖かったことをちゃんと話して仲直りだ。
もっと優しくして。
ごめんよ。
Wow, there's a lot in that scene. It's such a chill, pun intended, and slow and quiet episode, but it packs with so much symbolism. I want to start from the end and reverse backwards. So some viewers pointed out in the previous episodes when Fern was scared by Stark also with the same thing. It's not the fact that Stark had his cold hand on Fern's face, which is what Zayn and Stark assumes, but in actuality, it's the strong hands. Because Stark is very OP as a warrior. So I think unknown to Stark and also to Fern, although it sounds like Fern is aware, it's his hands that rested on Fern's shoulder that scared her. Because she's a mage. And she's very talented as well, a prodigy of her own. So I think her instinct of fight, flight, or freeze kicked in, which parallels what happened between Stark and Aizen the warrior. Remember, Aizen the warrior didn't outcast Stark because he's a coward, but rather his fight or flight or freeze, in this case fight, also kicked in, which is the reason why Aizen the warrior hit Stark. So it's a parallel process. In this case, Fern's fight, flight, or freeze, or fear kicked in, which is the reason why she got mad and annoyed at Stark, not the cold hands. The second thing I want to highlight is very intricate. I already talked about Zayn's skillful mediations and almost therapeutic approach, since a lot of priests are also counselors in real life. So that's the role that Zine filled in perfectly. But I want to quickly talk about Fern and Stark. With episode 15 and 16, I already talked about how much I ship Fern and Stark, especially with the dazzling dance, which freaking the animation, like Madhouse, went all out. We saw that Fern projected her annoyance and she was unable to regulate her emotions. Definition right here, emotional regulation. Our ability to regulate our responses, our reactivity, and emotions. We tend to lash out with those that we feel the closest and comfortable with. In this case, it's Fern and Stark. Psychologically, emotionally, Fern is very much comfortable with Stark. She feels safe with him. That's why when she felt unsafe, she lashed out and she got scared and she was mad. So that's one thing. Second thing, Stark obviously likes to joke around. He's not the most conscientious dude as we've seen. And of course, he's just 18 years old. He's a kid. But also, that's Stark's way of conveying his, I guess, languages of love and friendliness and closeness through physical touch. But for Fern, of course, her body language and languages of love and how she wants to perceive and receive affection is very different. Men and women, of course, they're different. So we can see that from the evidence of Fern saying that, hey, please be gentler. Every girls want to be treated like a princess, full stop. And putting your strong warrior hands on her shoulder and touching her face with a cold hand is not the most gentle way of treating a princess. But here's what I'm trying to say. Here's the undertone. Because I think that Fern likes Stark, I think at this point, it's probably more than just a friendship, companion love. I think they're slowly and surely creeping towards a romantic interest. I think Fern holds Stark to a higher standard. We tend to hold those that we really like to a higher standard. Why? Because we want the best from those that we like and cherish. In this case, Fern and Stark. And the last thing I'll say is, someone else also shared this in the comments when Zine was first introduced into the scene, where Zine is the only adult. And that's why he said Frieren is not gonna mediate on your behalf, which means Frieren's not gonna intervene. That's why she solicits the help of Zine, a very skilled priest and mediator. Through the separations, which is emotional detachment, that's a skill of emotional detachment. You're detaching the sources from the emotional conflict, but providing counseling to one by one. And he's also the bridge. He was able to help close the gap, emotional gap, misunderstanding, and resentment between Stark and Fern. I know resentment's a strong word, but that's the word I'm thinking about right now. And through his mediation, Stark and Fern, they both wanted to apologize, which parallels another conflict they had in the birthday episode when Fern was mad at Stark. So Zine steps up as the only air-quote adult who is emotionally capable to chime in and mediate the conflict. And now we get a happy ending. Fern and Stark just start dating already. That's what I'm saying, dude. To Frieren, everyone's a kid. Oh, true. It's a setup before he leaves, man. She sees your potential. Come on now. And she sees herself in you. Dislike of her own kind. Yeah. Yep. She sees herself in him. It does. Does make sense. Redemption arc. It's what Himo the hero would have done. I'll be a reason to go on a journey. Wow. Reminiscing of Himo, his legacy through Frieren. True. No denying that. Zine's a cool dude. Zine is pretty cool. I see why so many viewers like him. Mr. Gorilla Warrior. All these flashbacks, a setup for their departure.
ゴリラはあんたのことよく話してたよ。
Quick comments about the comments that I guess Zion and the gorilla friends said back in the days. We want to become unforgettable heroes that people remember forever. It's a quick play on words, but everlasting is actually still within the space-time continuum. So everlasting is still limited by time. So the only thing that's timeless without time and that's actually eternal is the present. Eternal is now because everything else is within the space-time continuum. So that's very interesting too.
やっぱり俺はゴリラを追いかけるよ。
He makes
もう後悔
his
するつもり
announcement
はないんだ。
officially. Storm ended and here comes the departure.
じゃあ元気で。
No hugs, no high fives.
またね。
またな。
They're not sad, no grief.
ずいぶんあっさりと別れるじゃね。
Yeah, so quick.
ザインは2人と違って大人だからね。きっとうまくやるよ。
Respects his decision, his autonomous decision as an adult. Very emotionally mature of Frieren. He's smiling. He has so much fun with them. All the reminiscence of their journey and their adventure. Very heartwarming.
一人だとこんなに静かなんだな。
So to close out the very quiet but symbolic first part of this episode, I want to again talk about Abraham Maslow's hierarchy. So out of the hierarchy, on top, the highest, the pinnacle of the Maslow's hierarchy is self-actualization. Actualizing and manifesting our potential and calling. We see that after much contemplation within that month where they were stuck in the cabin in light of the blizzard condition, we see that Zion finally achieved self-actualization. He's actualized and confirmed and internalized his calling to look for gorilla friends. So of course, there's a sadness, there's a trade-off, because everything has an opportunity cost. Every decision, whether good or bad, has an opportunity cost and trade-off. Full stop. But nonetheless, Zion's also, I guess, further along his emotional journey, and him maturing is him finally be able to make a decision, a decisive action, just like his fight with the flower monster before he used the waking up spell to wake up Frieren with that badass 5-second fight. He came to a decisive action by choosing to actualize his dream by looking for gorilla friends. And we're not seeing too much emotional loss or ambiguous emotional loss or sadness or grief because they've spent a really, really quality time of that 1 month unexpectedly trapped in the cabin. And cabin symbolizes emotional safety. This harbor of safety, emotional harbor or emotional haven, where they got to spend one last month of quality time together, even though Zion spent most of his days in the tavern by drinking. So because of that quality time spent in the cabin, despite the emotional turmoil that foreshadowed Zion leaving, I think that really helped with closure and helping the entire group to come with this peace, being at peace with the decision that Zion made because he's an adult and he made an autonomous decision. And of course, Frieren and Stark and Fern respects that deeply. And that's awesome. We're seeing emotional growth from everyone in that scene. There's so many winters in this show.
珍しいの。まだ寝て疲れているのか。
Uh-oh. Are they sick? For one, Stark is not the person who passed out or fell ill. He's actually the only healthy one for once.
おーい、朝飯できたぜ。
Oh, dude, they're definitely
そろ
sick.
そろ起きろ。
We see that Fern's heavy breathing. I think Fern is sick. Yeah, fever.
おい、フリーレン、起きてくれ。
あと半日。
And Frieren was just
そんなに眠っちゃダメで
sleeping.
しょ。それよりフェルンが具合悪そうで。
Can elves get sick or are they immune to physical illness?
おい、
12 more hours.
やめてよ。
Frieren's so cute.
ああ、熱があるね。
Fever, yep.
暖かくして寝てなくちゃ。
Oh, Fern exhausted herself physically. In the winter, the weather changes, right? Makes us more prone to being sick. Makes sense.
ザインが残してくれた薬草について書かれた式だ。
Wow, Zion is such a great priest and team member.
魔法で病気の判別をすれば 対応する薬草がわかる。
でも病気の判別って
Frieren
女
the
神様の
doctor?
魔法だろ。聖典の所持者しか使えないって話じゃん。
私だって聖典くらい持っているよ。
鍋敷きにされてる。
Oh, is that
僧侶の
Zines?
才能がない私でも難しい病気はわかんない。
大丈夫かよ。
Green. That's like the goddess magic, right?
ただの
Because
風
Zines,
邪だね。
Zines healing magic was also green.
この地方だと使える薬草は以前ヒンメルたちと薬草を採取した場所が近くにあったっけ。
Of course, Himo the hero makes a
とりあえず
comeback always.
寒さをしのげる場所まで行こうぜ。
That's a handsome cow. Fireplace, which
いや
means warm.
ー助かったぜ。こんな山の中に人が住んでいるだなんてな。
Quick pause. With that fireplace, like I said, symbolizes literal warmth and healing. I think it foreshadows and symbolizes Frieren probably stepping up as your caregiver, which is attachment theory right here. I think Frieren represents secure attachment style, and because of how broken and traumatic Fern's upbringing as an orphan, raised by Hydra and so on, Fern represents probably anxious and avoidance attachment style based on my understanding. But here's the thing, attachment styles or attachment theory, it's not a one fix for all. It's not like just because we have anxious attachment or avoidant attachment, we're stuck with it forever. No, either through therapy, which is a parallel healing process, or in this case, new caregiver like Hydra the Bishop and Frieren, you can actually correct the broken attachment style and course correct that into secure attachment style, because our attachment style shifts and changes and remorphs based on who we are with. So I think the second half of this episode is probably centers around Frieren stepping up as a caregiver and showcasing secure attachment style by course correcting Fern's brokenness of the past by looking after her and taking care of her. Very heartwarming and warm, just like the fireplace.
ところでこの近くにつらら桜の木があったよね。
ええ、ここから北
Cherry
に
blossom tree.
少し入り組んだところにあるけれども、
Don't worry, Frieren's
前
got
にも来
this.
たことがあるから。
Are they gonna taste that fresh milk milked by that
Frieren.
handsome cow?
ここに来てからずっと手を握っているな。
Caregiving,
辛そうだからね。
attachment symbolizes
フェルン
secure
が風邪を
and
ひいた
warm.
時、
Yep.
手を握ってあげると安心するんだよ。
Oh,
小さい
Frieren the
頃からそうな
mom.
んだ。どうしたの？恥ずかしいです。
Avoidance and anxious attachment style by
Mm.
Fern. What did I just say?
子供扱いしないで。
But Fern, you are a child, literally. She's embarrassed.
そうだね。
Yep, avoidant and anxious. But it's okay. Frieren will
あ
help
と
you
2
feel
年
more
もすれば
secure.
立派な大人か。ちょっと前までこの
So
くらいの
Fern
女の
is
子だ
16 years
ったん
old,
だよ。
2 years younger than
背も私の方がずっと高かった。あっという間だった。フェルンはまだ子供なんだよ。多分この先もずっとそうだ。
That's a very frequent mindset of parents.
さっさとめない
It's
と
not a
ね。
bad thing. Just two parents, they love and they cherish their kids so much that in their minds, they're forever children.
そのつらら桜ってのが薬の
Damn,
最後
how
の
far
材
is
料か。
this?
使うのは木の根に生えているキノコだけどね。
It is such a quiet and chill episode. Whoa. Damn, that thing's
綺
awesome.
麗だね。フェルンにも見せてあげたかった。
I think this was in the previous opening
冬に咲
scene
く花の
intro
中では
before.
一
I
番
remember
好きか
seeing
な。
this tree. Or in the outro scene.
花は有毒だから気をつけてね。
なんでフェルンの手を握ったんだ。
Secure attachment
普
style.
段はそこまで子供扱いしてねえだろ。
子供扱いしたつもりはないよ。フェルンが辛そうだったから手を握っただけ。
That emotional growth.
私はあれしか苦痛を和らげてあ
Wow,
げる方
Frieren,
法を
you've
知ら
come
な
a
いから。
long way. It's so heartwarming.
私は
With
ど
that
うすれば
smile?
よかったんだろうね。
No, you did it
だっ
just
たらもう
right.
やりたいようにやるしかないんじゃないか。少なくとも師匠はそうしていたぜ。多分人には心の支えが必要なんだ。
Physical touch. One of
支
the five
えてもらっ
languages
て
of
悪
love.
い気分になるやつはいねえよ。
Amen. That's so true. Himo the hero and I guess Frieren
何のつもり？
elves can get sick.
うなされていたから風邪の時は心細いからね。
Oh, dude, Himo the hero is literally like Jesus.
こうしてよく手を握ってくれた。不思議と落ち着くんだ。心の支えが必要なのは子供だけじゃない。
True.
悪い気分ではないだろ。
そうだね。
気遣う僕もなかなかイケメンだね。薬
Himo is so
できまし
funny.
たよ。
What a true and real hero.
多分フェルンが恥ずかしがっていたのは俺がいたからだ。
Very
甘えて
good
いる姿
insights,
なんて
possibly.
人に見られたくなんかないよな。
ありがとうねシュタルク。やりたいようにやってみるよ。
Very wise.
お礼にシュタルクが風邪をひいた時は私が手を握ってあげるね。
やだよ、恥ずかしいよ。
じゃあキノコを回収するか。よいしょっと。
思ったよりもでっかい。怖
They're
い。
huge. So quick pause. Quite a few highlights. Stark asked the question that I'm sure many of us were thinking. Probably not the viewers, since I'm sure you guys have seen this like 16, 17, 18, 20 times. But I had a passing thought of, interesting that in this very moment, I wonder what inspired Frieren to hold Fern's hands. Of course, psychologically, emotionally, I deduced that it was for that secure attachment and emotional support, which is what Frieren said. But more interestingly, it's a parallel, and it was inspired by Himo the hero doing the very act of holding Frieren's hands when she was sick once upon a time. So that's amazing. And I want to go into this more, I guess, undertone of that is the concept that healing ripples. When we work on ourselves, we in turn help out and benefit the people around us. Just like all my clients who learn helpful therapeutic skill sets, emotional regulation, pro-social interpersonal skills, and everything in between, they take that with them, internalize it, and they apply it to their lives. But it doesn't end there. It doesn't just only benefit their lives, they also share that and teach other people in their lives and help out other people, like a proxy therapy support, even though they're not therapists. So that's what's happening in this scene. Frieren learns this yet another helpful and heartwarming physical touch and physical gesture of warmth and emotional connections from Himo the hero, just like the head pat. And now she's in turn directly transferring that to Fern during her vulnerable state and when she's in need of emotional support. And Stark also says something very interesting. Stark said she probably got embarrassed because I was around. I said that was a really astute insight by Stark because I think he's probably right. When we like someone else, in this case Fern liking Stark romantically, we want to show them the best case, our best selves. We don't want to showcase and present our vulnerable side to the people that we like. We want them to see nothing but the perfection of us, although perfection is an illusion. So I think that based on the romantic development and the emotional development, stages of emotional development process, I think Stark is right in a sense that Fern wanted to showcase her best self. But in this case, she was sick and her hands was held by Frieren, made her feel like a child, even though she is a child. So Stark had a very, very good self-awareness just there. But again, it goes back to what I've been saying in the beginning. I think the romance is sparkling more and more between Stark and Fern, just like the fireplace. And fire starts off a little bit, but through the sparkle, fire continues to get bigger and bigger, and it's contagious and warming up everyone around them. Just like when Zayn said it earlier, just start dating already. So I'm really touched and warmed by Fern and Stark's ongoing romantic development, in addition to Frieren's tremendous growth and her stepping up and stepping into this healthy, amazing role of a caregiver. Wow. And that mushroom was huge. Like a witch. I love Frieren's troll face. So funny. Milking? Yes, taste that fresh milk. Oh, I forgot Stark is another hero. Good Samaritan. Man, so helpful. Amazing guy. Oh, emotional support. Yes, you are. Let go of your parentification, Fern. You are a child. Enjoy it. Cherish this. Embrace it. Own it. See? She's touched. Secure attachment forming between Fern and Frieren. Oh, what a heartwarming
だいぶ良
episode.
くなった
It's slow but so touching.
フリーレン様とシュタルク様、ザイン様の指揮のおかげですね。
True.
大変よくしていただきました。
So much kindness around us. We just have to look for them.
それじゃあ目指すは魔法都市
Oh, the city of magic. Are we gonna see other powerful mages? Oh, very excited for the next episode.
一級魔法使い選抜試験を行う。
Episode 18, First Class Mage Exam. Is Frieren gonna recertify finally? And is this the mage tournaments that a lot of viewers pointed out? And I don't count that as spoilers since I still don't know what the episode's about. But I do remember a lot of people are saying that wait till the mage tournament. So I'm guessing that's episode 18. And I do know that episode 18 is all highly anticipated. And I'm very, very, very excited to see Frieren going all out as a mage, and I guess fighting and combating against other mages. And I wonder if there's other elves mages, or is she gonna be competing with other human mages? So I guess we shall see next weekend. And as always, if you found my analysis helpful, smash that thumbs up. Share this episode with one friend, share the love, improve the algorithm, but also make sure you're subscribed, because I just recorded the first episode of Death Note, my new series after Violet Evergarden, and I hope you check it out. I went all out, and Death Note is truly a classic, and I see why so many people pointed it out. And as always, until next week, till next time, peace.